If you want to recreate Alia's iconic look, let's start today's video. Starting with the base, I'm using the Maybelline Grippy Serum Primer to apply it all over the face. This is a very serum, lightweight kind of primer, but it's also tacky but not overly sticky. So this is great for long wear. Press that into the nose to make it slightly more tackier. Next, I'm going in with the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Corrector in the shade Peach. I'm applying this only where I've got maximum darkness. Now using a brush, I'm blending it all out. You can see that I'm pressing the product in. This gives more neutralization and it does not move the product around a lot. If product moves into your smile lines, apply it slightly inside and do not blend it onto the smile lines. For concealer, I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 40 Caramel and I'm applying it where I used the corrector. And now using the brush, I'm blending that out. For this look, we want it to be natural, but we also want it to be iconic and last long. If you follow this step by step, your makeup is going to last you at least 8 hours. For foundation, I'm using the Maybelline Lumi Matte in shade 248. I'm using this foundation because it gives you the luminous but matte finish, and I've tried it for an entire day and it lasted without moving at all. As you can see, I'm tapping it at the center of the face and then blending it outwards. That is a perfect shade match. Now for brows, I'm using the Maybelline Express Brow and I'm filling it in the sparse areas. Alia does not have blocky brows, so we need to keep it natural looking, but make sure everything is filled in. By applying the product and blending it out, you're keeping the brows natural, but it also looks filled in. Next, I'm using the NYX Brow Glue to apply it and seal the brows in place. This is one of my favorite drugstore brow gels. And now let's move on to the eyes. I'm going to be applying the concealer on the lid first. We are just evening out the color over here. For eyeshadow, I'm using the Catrice palette and I'm going in with the lightest shade and applying this all over the lid. I have applied 2 layers of it. Now I'm going in with the second darkest shade and I'm going to be carving out the crease. If you've got hooded eyes, make sure your eyes are kept open and you're looking straight and then carve out your crease. This shade also acts like a contour, so we're defining the eyes. Keep blending it out until it starts looking nicely blended and warm. Now apply the same shade on the bottom lash line. You can see how I'm connecting it to the crease. This will not only define your eyes, but it will look connected. And now use the lightest shade to apply it on the lid again. We are brightening up the eyelid. Now I'm using a gold shimmer and just tapping it lightly on the lid. We want it to be scattered. For the feline flick, we're going to be using a black shadow and I'm just carving out the wing. You can use your finger to clean out any mistakes you might have made. Keep pressing the black shadow in because that will start giving you the definition you'd like. Take your time at this step because if you've got hooded eyes, you want to apply a thin liner so that it defines the eyes and doesn't make it look smaller. And with whatever's on the brush, we're going to be just deepening out the roots of the lashes. We do not want a very harsh line. Using a brown kajal, I'm tightlining the upper lash line. And I'm also applying it on the waterline. This is how your eyes will look before mascara. Now using the Refer 20R lash curler, I'm curling my lashes. And now I'm applying my favorite mascara. You can easily apply 2 to 3 coats without it looking clumpy. Apply some to the bottom lashes too. And this is how you get that beautiful eye look that Alia wore. Now we need to define the face and I'm using the Maybelline Lifter Stick in the shade 55 and applying it as my bronzer. Alia did not have much of bronzing, that's why I'm going in with shade 55 and not 65. Now Alia had that beautiful rosy blush, so that's what I'm going to be using today. This one's by L'Oreal. This is a billable blush, so that's exactly what I'm doing here. Now with the L'Oreal Lumi Glass, I'm applying that as my highlighter. It gives you that glass-like skin finish, but it's not sticky at all. And the best part, it's not lifting any makeup from underneath. Now before applying any powder, we need to remove any creases. So that's what I'm doing right here. And with the Australis banana powder, I'm going to be setting my under eyes and my face. We still want the glow on the face, that's why I'm applying it only on the places where I crease the most. If you've got oily skin, you can do the same. To define the face slightly more, I'm just going underneath the bronzer and blush. It's sort of carving the face in a way. To melt all the powders and cream, I'm using the Milani setting spray at this step. And once it's dry, pat it in. For lips, I'm going in with the Colourpop Lippy Pencil and I'm lining the lips. We do not want a harsh line, so that's why I'm blending it in as well. Alia and I are very different skin tones, so that's why I have to go in with a darker lip color. And now with the L'Oreal Worth It Medium, I'm going to be applying this on my lips. If you're a lighter skin tone than I am, you can certainly go in with the Worth It shade itself. I'm just finishing it off with a lip brush. Now I'm going to be using a finishing powder to blur out my face and to avoid any excess shine. This one's by Maybelline. And now to set everything forever, literally, I'm using the setting spray again. And this is the finished look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Have a good day, guys. Bye.